So one of my favorite things to use is TemplateTab. What that allows me to do is to take a roster of my students and to create a copy of a graphic organizer per student. So then I've got one spreadsheet with a tab along the bottom, or a sheet, for every student with the same rubric or graphic organizer, which is great because then I can put it into Google Classroom and have one document where all students access the same one document instead of opening 30. So that's probably my favorite use for TemplateTab, but I can also use it for individual uses per student. So for example, I take the TemplateTab and I put the peers' names in column A, or I can put the group names in column A, and on the template tab, I can design a peer evaluation rubric. And so then I'm going to run TemplateTab, and it's going to create a copy of the peer evaluation rubric for each student or for each group, which is great. So then I can just take that spreadsheet and make a copy for every student, Google Classroom obviously being the easiest way to distribute a copy for everybody. So then each student would go and find the tabs of the students or groups that they're going to evaluate and fill them out. But then what about the students and groups they don't evaluate? Usually, if there's 30 students in the class, they don't evaluate every single student. And maybe even with groups, they wouldn't evaluate every single group. So I've created a way to just delete out those ones that the students didn't use and didn't peer evaluate. So let's take a look. So you're going to go to alicekeeler.com/TemplateTab. It's A. What you're able to do is write your list of student names, or of course copy and paste them, or the list of your student groups. So let's say that we're doing peer evaluation by groups. So I'd put group 1, and then I'll just paste this down here so that I've got 16 groups. Then I come over here, it says put template here, and this is where I would design my rubric. So I might be like overall evaluation score, and then I like to merge cells, merge the cells, use the paint can, make it yellow, center it, make the font bigger, and of course I like to use Comic Sans because I think I'm funny. That font's not big enough. Okay, so I have a spot for the student to put in the score. Then I can start putting the evaluations, like used glitter, made a project, showed critical thinking, learning objective 1, or whatever it is, and then they can just mark it off yes or no. This is the worst rubric ever. Alright, so once you have your graphic organizer or template, you just come up to TemplateTab and choose Run TemplateTab. So what that's going to do is ask me to authorize, and I say, yep, go right ahead. And it's going to start making a copy of this for each group. So you can see down here it's creating it for each of the groups. Okay, down at the bottom you can view those. And so what it did, if I come back, you'll notice that the roster is hidden, but that I have a copy of the rubric for every group. So if I was evaluating group 4, I might give them an overall evaluation of 10. I'm like, yes, they used glitter. They don't have a good project. There's some critical thinking. They did the learning objective. I'll give this one a 6. Group 7, let's go over here to group 11. We'll give them a 9. And they did everything awesome. Okay, so then I have all these groups that I did not evaluate. So if I actually go to the View menu, and you go to Hidden Sheets and look at the roster. So when I come over to the Roster tab, I can see, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this out of the way. I can see that Group 1 has 7 cells filled out. So if I go click on Group 1, you'll notice that it's just the blank template. There are 7 cells that have content in the overall rubric. And so group 2 has 7 also, which means that the template is also blank. But I can see here that group 4 filled out 12 things. And so on group 4, sure enough, that one's filled out. So I don't need group 1, group 2, or group 3. I do need the group 4 because the student actually filled that out. And they actually filled out group 5, but they did not fill out group 6. So I can see that from the roster, they filled out they did not fill out group 6. Group 6. I have a typo. I'm going to fix that. But they filled out group 11, but not group 12. So I want to get rid of all of those. So I'm just going to go to TemplateTab and delete the blanks. And so now it's going to get it down. So now I have group 4, look here along the bottom, group 5, group 11, and then these are the only ones that were filled out. So all the other ones that were not filled out are now eliminated.